Shalom.
This one is pretty.
Shalom, shalom. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Ordinary, every day. I agree with you. Well, no amount of money would be worth giving up my God-given freedom. I absolutely agree. Yes, sir. That is definitely the chicken nuggets. They're talking. Elktown. Shalom. Shalom, Brother Ken. Shalom, Brother Chris. Brother David, my beloved. Shalom, shalom. Emu 5454. Shalom, shalom. Sister Cheryl. Shalom, Sister Cheryl. Excuse me again. Excuse me. Thank you. Stony Island Ranch. Shalom, shalom. What's happening? HOQ. Shalom, shalom, my beloved. Bob T. Shalom. Welcome to the channel. Never seen your name before, but welcome to the channel. Uh-oh. Jakar 3. Shalom, shalom, brother. Hallelujah. Let me see if I can grab a chicken nugget real quick. Don't blah. Shalom, my beloved brother. Shalom, shalom. Yep. They're getting big. They're getting big. And ugly. They're getting to a point where it's almost time to get them outside, and I'll be thankful for that. Hallelujah. Yes, 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 yes. Hallelujah. And I don't know if you can see right here, but that's actually an egg incubator. So we are actually, is that something on my beard? That's just a rubber band. That's actually an egg incubator. It incubates 9 eggs at a time. So we're closing those gaps up. Closing those gaps up. Being able to produce meat and eggs regularly. And it just runs off the solar. Does a great job running off the solar. Doesn't take, I think it uses less than 50 watts, about 50 watts. So once the temperature's where it's supposed to be, it just maintains it perfectly. Hallelujah. Yes, it's a 12 volt. 12 volt uses less than, it guarantees to use less than 50 watts. I got it on Amazon during the whole Black Friday sale. They knocked off they knocked off like 30% off the price. I was like, you know what? Let me try it out. It's been working perfectly. The only thing I don't like about it is that the temperature on the reading on top does not That's right. Mine automatically turns itself also. I don't do the turning on it. It does the turning on itself. Uh, it's wonderful. I don't have to do anything. Just put them in there, it turns them, and then there's a little rail system. And it what's the name of it? Can you tell me what the name of this is? The incubator?
Vivo Home
Vivo Home?
Egg Incubator.
Vivo Home Egg Incubator. Holds 9. I don't want to unplug it. That's gonna be too much work. I was gonna show them, but I mean, so the thing I noticed that's odd is the one thing that's off is the temperature on the top is not the same temperature as inside. I have actually a thermometer with a humidity reader inside the incubator, and the incubator on top says right now it's 103. That's what it says, but inside it says it's only 99.5. So that could be a big difference if you were just relying on the temperature on the top. Because you would think your eggs are 103 and your eggs would actually be at 99. So that's the only difference. But outside of that, I love it. I love it. Brother David said, yes, closing gaps. That's what I'm on. Oh, Brother Melvin, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bless you, my brother. Bless you, Brother Melvin. So that's what we're on right now. We're actually going to get started. We're not going to be long, probably an hour. How many people remember about a year, I'd say about 8 months to a year ago? No, about 8 months ago. Early this year. Maybe it was last winter, somewhere around that time. When I brought up, I had made the mention that it was interesting that the Game of Thrones said winter is coming, and then how The Walking Dead had an episode that was called Winter is Coming. Does anybody remember when I was making mention of that? Can you have my coffee also? My coffee? Thank you. Oh, that's good. All right, yeah. Everyone, yes, sir, I do. Isn't it kind of interesting that, with all that, and then Sister Rosie from UK, shalom. Yes, ma'am. They are doing excellent. They're heating up right now. I got the stove going. It's going to be right at freezing today, so got to keep the temperature up for them and for us. But yeah. The whole, winter is coming. Game of Thrones had it. One of the episodes of The Walking Dead had it. And then, great old Joe Biden. It's going to be a dark winter. I thought it was rather interesting way back when. Just even the way Game of Thrones advertised the whole winter is coming, and then the Winter King or whatever his name is, the Winter King, how this impending doom was coming upon Jon Snow and the realms or the tribes, whatever they were called. I just find that very interesting. And yet here we are looking at a dark winter. That's right. Stony Island, that's one of my little side hustles. And we're going to talk about side hustles. We're going to talk, okay, I get it. We're going to talk about them side hustles. I think that as far as everything that's going right, coincidence? Right, Brother Chris. I just found it rather weird, like winter is coming. That's interesting. That they're so adamant on saying winter is coming, and here we are. Oh, Tractor Supply hasn't been getting chicks because of the mail delay. Wow. Well, I believe that hatching your own is going to be the way to go. But I think that we have to start thinking, and the babies agree, we have to start thinking on a bigger scale of what we're going to actually do. It's interesting, just the simple fact that these babies, that the Maryland governor attached, the stimulus check. Is a Maryland, or he was a Maryland governor. I think he ran for president this year. The guy who made this announcement, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was saying that they should attach the $1,500 stimulus checks to you getting your vaccination. Don't you find that kind of odd? That they want the vaccination so bad, they're pushing it so hard that they're willing to pay you, essentially, for getting it. Does anybody find that as odd as I do? That they want you, they want to pay you for a stimulus check. Oh, okay, that would make sense. That would make sense. They don't ship throughout the winter. Super Beast, that's right. They can keep the 1,500. But whenever I see, Brother David said, conditioning of the mind. That's right. I think it's an extremely odd thing that they would push it so hard to the point where we need to reach herd immunity. Really? Really? That they're so adamant about you getting your vaccination. So it just makes me think. I know some of the movie theaters. I also, I think it was a soccer team in the United States said that they're going to make us a soccer. I think it was a soccer team that said that they are not going to allow people to attend the football soccer events unless you're vaccinated. And I know that a lot of people have it in their mind, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to take this vaccination no matter what. And I just humbly submit, if that is your stance, I hope you have an actual plan. I hope you have an actual plan on how you plan on navigating through an environment where the possibility of you not being able to have a job or whatever it may be, you might want to have a plan to navigate through that environment. Soccer is a pizza sport. It goes against logic. If the vaccine protects the vaccinated, why would they care if I choose to risk not being vaccinated? Must be about something else. That is right. It has to be about something else. If it just doesn't make sense. Sister Kay, the wife of Brother Michael Sanders, bless you, brother. I honor you, sir. Sister Kay said, Shalom, I read an article about if people do not get vaccinated, they can't fly internationally. Some overseas airline owners are discussing the possibilities. I also have read several articles, sister, that made a reference to the idea of no vax, no fly. In fact, they said that they were going to issue e-certificates for the vaccinated so that the airline could basically just kind of look you up and see if you've been vaccinated. I find that very interesting because that means that they also, with the vaccinations, they are also going to be almost like tracking where you go. This just reminds me of September 11th, 2001. How September 11th, 2001 changed a lot in this country, and it changed internationally. How things happened, what things happened. People gave away their freedoms. Here we are, almost 20 years later, and I believe that this event is going to greatly change the world. Even though it looks like they have answers, do people still not understand that how detrimental this could be to an economy? Think about it. Let's say that they say food workers or the people that collect their food out in the fields. Let's say they have to get vaccinated in order to pick your food. Well, what if many of them choose not to get vaccinated? We're going to have the same problem we had this year. Food rotting in the fields. That's right, Emu. The vax is about control. It's not about your health at all. At all. Most vaccinations, they say, I say they didn't give them up. They were taken by passing. That's right. The Patriot Act just took away people's rights. And I believe that this is just the start of something bigger. I would suggest that, especially if you do not plan on taking the vaccination, you may want to start figuring out a way to make money. You may want to start finding out a way to make money that's not your normal going to work and working your 9 to 5. Now, if you plan on taking the vaccination, that's fine. But if you don't, you may want to start figuring out how to navigate through this situation. Because it looks bad. It looks really, really bad. Think about it. Just start thinking long term. The prudent man foresees the evil and hides himself. The foolish one passes on and is punished. What if they say, because they had it at stores already, if you don't wear a mask, you can't come in the store? What happens if you do not show proof of vaccination? You cannot enter into the store. How then do you eat? How then do you eat? For a large majority of people, what percentage of the food that they get is bought from the store? 80, 90? Some people completely 100%? Imagine what it might look like in 2 years, in 3 years, as they keep pushing this agenda, as they keep pushing this thing right along of vaccinations. I see more mail ordering in many people's future. I do also. I see a lot. Why not prepare now? Rather, it's the vaccine now or the mark later. Yah's people must become producers and be able to barter amongst ourselves. No other way but the old paths. And then when I reached Sister Rosie, she said, here in the UK, the intention is that all key workers, the medical, teaching, and law enforcement will be vaccinated early 2021. One of my sisters a nurse, the other a teacher. Wow. Wow. And, I worked in the medical field, and they sure are going to vaccinate those people in the medical field. Sure thing. But the thing, the comment what Brother David was saying, this is why I think there's a fundamental belief that we have to be around each other as brothers and as sisters, because you're going to have to start. There's no possible way that you are going to be able to produce everything that you need. No possible way. That's where the strength of being around each other is. If I produce, let's just say, I produce, I don't know, I'm a great gardener, and I can produce an abundance of vegetables. Well, let's say a brother over there has milk. He has cows. Barter. You give me some of that milk and maybe some of the beef, and I'll trade you some of my fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. Let's say somebody is a skilled electrician. Let's say somebody can make alcohol. Right behind me right now, I have 5 gallons of wine that's fermenting. Let's say somebody's able to make alcohol, and not even necessarily for drinking, but what if it's for antiseptic? What it's for, they can distill alcohol. What if it's for antiseptic? What if somebody can produce eggs? One person can produce meat. One person can produce milk. One person has a mill and can mill wood. Because see, you by yourself can't do that. You can't do it all. And what this should show us more than anything is that if you don't have skills, you might want to very urgently start learning some. Do not wait. Super B said, I can fix machines. A skill. You might want to learn something. Let me tell y'all, talking is not a skill. It may look like a skill to some. Talking is not a skill. What I'm doing right now is not going to be worth anything when the appropriate time comes. You're going to want to learn a barterable skill, a skill that people want, that people need. If you are an insurance salesman, that's great for now. That's going to help you get greenbacks. But what skill do you have that you have right now that you can make money off of? I mean, something as simple as changing oil, doing brakes, growing food. For sisters, seamstresses, sewing, clothing repair. There are numerous skills that you can learn. The Bible says a rich man is known for his riches and the poor man for his skill. Since I don't think any of us are rich, I mean, maybe some of you feel they are, you're going to have a skill. I like that, Super Beast. I consider myself a jack of all trades and a master of none. One person can't do it all, and to be useful to the brotherhood of Yah's people, one must have skills and the tools, equipment necessary for said skill sets. That is the absolute truth. And I'm not talking fantasy skills. I'm not talking about you read it in a book one time. I'm talking about something that you can actually go and do. I'm getting my blacksmithing spun up. Hallelujah. That's a skill. That's a skill that I think will be in great demand because most people don't know how to, I mean, I've never forged anything in reality and can smith it. I can't do that. But I have watched Forged in Fire. That does not make me a master working with metal because I watched Forged in Fire. Great show. I went out there and tried to make myself a blade. It actually turned out pretty well using a lawnmower blade. Tried to make myself a blade. It turned out decent. But all that stuff about quenching the metal and hardening it, yeah, that stuff's real. That stuff is real. But you're going to have the tools now. I'll talk about Brother David and HOQ. Right, L-Count, yeah, I'm not a bladesmith now. Yeah, I'm not a bladesmith now. I made a tool just to get the job done that I needed it for. I think I was just cutting some stuff back. And I had used those Harbor Freight machines, which are decent, but I want something that had a heavier blade. So as we keep going down this pathway, and sisters, see, all of the Sabbath talks that I have is a lead up. Because, and I mean this with the utmost love and respect, a lot of people, and especially you, are going to have to take the vaccination because you may not have a choice. If you don't have a skill that is marketable, that you can make money off of, that's why in Argentina, women and their daughters were selling the one thing that they had that was of value to men. And I think we know what that is. They had no other way. They were with men who did not have skills. And the only thing that they had that was marketable, there was a story I was reading of a man who literally prostituted his own wife so that they could eat. So they could eat. Man had no skills. She had no skills, but she did have body parts that men wanted. And that became the only thing that she had that was of value. This is why I speak about certain things, whether people don't like it or not. This is why I speak about certain things. Because the time to try and find an answer is not in the middle of a situation. The time to find an answer is not when you're desperate. Right, sex isn't the skill to keep you safe. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. That's rock bottom. This has been going on in Venezuela. That's what it was. Sorry, not Argentina, Venezuela. That's what I was, yes. Thank you, all count. It was happening in Venezuela. Reports all over. I was reading all sorts of reports of women selling sex. That's all they had. Just let that sink in. What skill do you have? This $1,500 is being floated in front of people. This idea that I may need to take the vaccination to make it, to survive. Have you found a way to navigate yet through this society without having to use the same channels that have always been used? Do you know how to survive? Literally survive without the necessities that we are acclimated to today. Are you one of those people that has to go to the store every single day? What if you can't? One of the things that this is greatly affecting also is the food supply. Just the whole zombie plague altogether. It's something that's been kind of washed off to the side. And all these distractions, there's a distraction of, what's going on in Georgia, the recount, the counting of this and this attorney. And that seems to be what a lot of our focus is on is Trump going to be president again? Which I don't care because I didn't vote anyways. None of that matters to me. So I get to focus on the things that are important. And I'm looking at this vaccination. And I'm looking at the plague. I'm looking at the economic situation that's coming out of this. I'm looking at the homelessness. I'm looking at the food bank lines. I'm looking at the possibility of people actually starving, being hungry. I'm looking at the reports from certain cities where 40 to 50% of people are missing a meal. 40 to 50% of households are missing one meal a day. That's what I look at. I'm not concerned about because whoever they choose is just going to be the person who is taking the ship, who's going down with the ship. They're just choosing the captain to go down with the ship. You can't fix this economic system without a reset. Also, many people have skills, but how? That just me. That is a great point. How do you get the raw material to even use your skill? Let's say you have I don't know, you change oil on vehicles or whatever it may be. Well, what happens if you can't go to the store to get oil? What happens if you can't go to the store to get gas to run your machines, our machines? What then? I know most people don't have the skills to process wood into lumber without a mill. Starving, possibly becoming a slave to the system or a warlord. And Pastor Fox talks about that warlords will spring up. And I believe that could be the truth. Those that do not have, tuba shalom. Those that do not have will become servants either to the system or to those that do have. That's the way it's always been. That's in the Bible. That's actually biblical. Where men, if they could not handle their situation, would just go in and say, "I'll be a servant." Shalom. Okay, I'm gonna mess up your name, so I'm gonna say NGY. NGY, shalom. I'm good. I am good. We are watching the falling apart of a system. We are watching the end of an empire. And we are in the front seat of this thing. Those of us who have prepared for this thing will and should know where this whole thing leads. It's going to be so sad to see people who are suffering when they had the Bible, they know how it ends, and you're still going to do nothing. I do realize that a lot of people have the attitude of, well, I'm just going to pray about it. That's because they didn't make any moves. When you didn't make any moves, the only thing you have left is to just say, I'm going to pray about it. And then there are those of us that prayed about it and then made moves. For those that have money today, and I know I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm only telling you what I'm doing. If you have anything, if you got 25 cents, I would suggest that you start putting your money, again, I'm not an advisor, into things that are tangible and real. Before you get your 30-second AR-15, why not look around your house and say, do I have the tools? Do I have the tools that I need to survive? What's more important? Another AR-15 or a chicken incubator? Some Berkey water filters? What about making sure your car is in good working order? What about some tools? Because if you cannot make money, how do you keep these things in working order? Think about even heat. Right now, my stove is roaring. My stove is roaring. I'm warm. There are people right now that are on the streets that are not warm. They're freezing, in fact. They're freezing. Do you know how to heat your place? You live in an apartment. Have you figured out an answer if you can afford to put food on the table, keep your electricity on, and a roof over your house? Let me just a roof over your house, a roof over your head. Let me ask you, if you have a finite amount of money because crap is going down, you lost your job, and you had to lose one of the three. Pick one. Either you don't have electricity, you don't have a roof over your head, or you don't have food. Which one are you going to eliminate? Honestly, you can't afford to pay all three, so one has to go. Which one goes? Electric. That's right. People do think, yep, yes. Electricity. That, to some people, is a very big deal because how do I keep my cell phone? But when you think about it, that's the thing that has to go. But then how do you cook in an apartment? How do you keep warm in an apartment? How do you wash your clothes? Because I know we know the answer, how to wash clothes, but the average person has no clue how to wash clothes. They could not even fathom the idea of that they would have to be the agitator. This is where this whole thing is going. This zombie plague has decimated. People are losing their jobs in droves. That unemployment number, I think, is complete bullcrap. To be honest, right now, I think we're honestly approaching 40 to 50% unemployment rate. That's right. A few solar panels, but some people don't even have the means to do that. That's why when you see the comment that El Count put up, a mean cottage. At that point in time, what's better? A shack in the middle of the woods? Or your nice apartment? Nobody ever fathoms or thinks that they could lose their job. There are very few jobs that are recession-proof. Bucket, plunger, agitator. How will the masses deal with their human waste? That's another thing. What are you going to do with your doo-doo? See, some people look at the way some of us live and say, I would never do that. And that's exactly where they're going. That's exactly where this zombie plague has taken everybody. My question, how many people are going to bend and break? NGY, that's exactly it. Shack in the woods is the way. That is exactly it. A shack with a few solar lights and a wood stove, safe, sound, and fed. With that, you can, in the woods, you can go out there and plant yourself a little garden, grow. You can get yourself, I know, there's better axes out there, but you can go to Walmart and get yourself a hyper tough axe. With a wood stove, I'm gonna read some of we were probably close to 20% unemployment before this. Tuba, I agree. And you know, those numbers they were giving you, everybody knows there was bull crap. Before this, we were probably close to 20%. Now I'd say we're pushing 50. Yes, in my industry, people are selling their homes, and people that once made 200K are cutting grass and clipping hedges. And they know that it's not sustainable. You're not going to make, you know, your $2,500 house payment, your $600 car note. People are financing their cell phones now. It's not sustainable. It never was. The American dream was never sustainable. Only few were ever going to live it. That few was not you and I. Although they fed us the idea that we could live that dream, it wasn't for us. And those that got sucked into it paid for it dearly. Got to have the newest car. Every year that comes out, you know, I'm driving the 2018. It's perfectly fine. It's only got 8,000 miles on it. But you know what? The 2019 came out. And I got to trade up. I got to get that one. We are mastering those skills now before life forces the changes. That's it. Brother David, that's exactly it. Some of us are just ahead of the curve. Some of us already know how to do these things. Some of us already heat with wood. That's brother Super Beast. I drive a 1997 Chevy Tahoe. Over 200K. I'm about to replace the O2 sensors on it because I'm having some issues. But I'm replacing. I just bought a all new four O2 sensors. About to replace those. I do most of my work. If it goes from point A to point B without breaking down, I'm absolutely happy that I got there. Some people right now are in the process of having to return their cars back because you can't afford it. Because you want to drive the new truck because it just came out. You want to impress somebody. How's that working for you now? We are foreseeing the evil and hiding ourselves, i.e. preparing. That's what we are doing. That is the truth, Brother David. That's why this was and things, if it costs more than $20 to me, being that I don't have a lot of money, it's important. And I spent the money for this thing because I want to close that gap of having to always pay somebody else to hatch my eggs. Being contacted a nursery, they send me their chicks. I said, I want to hatch my own and close that loop. This next year also, I'm working on closing the feed loop. At least if I can feed my chickens. This first year, I would like to feed them about 20% from here. So 2021, my goal is to feed my chickens 20%. 20% of their feed will be produced here. I don't think it's beyond, 100% of the greens that we ate, the vegetables that we ate this year and last year was produced here. Minus the potatoes. I'm working on that one now. I bought a 2015 Toyota Tundra 4x4 with mine ready to get out to the country. Hallelujah. Heating with wood is wonderful. Splitting by hand, not. Doing laundry by hand during summer is fun. During winters, it's horrible. Fingers freezing, etc. That's the truth, brother. That's the truth. What I want, and this is also for the people who are going to listen to this afterwards, this is not necessarily specifically about a vaccination shot. This is about the whole totality of what we are seeing. The whole totality of what we are seeing is we are seeing a dying economy. I believe that that's one of the reasons that this thing accidentally left the lab. A dying economy. I mean, and I know that the virus exists. I know it does. But how they're spinning this thing, we have to test you by shoving a 10-foot Q-tip down your nose and into your brain. That's how we're able to test you, but you can sneeze and pass it. If you sneeze from somebody and somebody's nearby, they can catch it. But we have to scrape the back of your brain, get some of that back there to test it. But if I can spread it by sneezing, why can't you just take some of the stuff inside my mouth? So the theory that I pose is just a theory, and this is completely conspiracy. I'm letting you know right now. Was there something on those Q-tips they were putting into people's nose? Is there something was there something on the end of that Q-tip when they're shoving it way back there? Are they depositing something back there? Because it doesn't make sense that you would have to do all that to test somebody when I can sneeze and pass it. I'm just saying, just a theory. Tuba, thank you. I am honored. I am honored. People were saying, well, if you gave us a stimulus check before Christmas, we'll spend the money on Christmas presents. People still don't get it. People still don't get it. Oh, John Hopkins said they have nanotechnology. Woo! I'm gonna look that up. That's interesting. If it's so contagious, a cheek swab should have been right. Right. If it was that contagious, a cheek swab would have been good enough. This stuff, it's mind-blowing. Just like when it first came out, everybody said 5G. It's 5G. They're doing this. They're doing this because they want to get 5G out. I'm like, no, it's not, because people don't care about 5G. Most people are going to be excited by it. Wow, my cell phone's going to go faster. Wow, my cell phone's going to move faster. I'm happy with 5G. They don't care about that. They did this to kill an economy. For more power is being transferred. They shut down the small stores, which means everybody is feeding Amazon and Walmart now. Everybody's going to Amazon and Walmart for their groceries, for their supplies. They kill all the mom and pop stores, and the big mega stores, their stocks are going out the roof. Meanwhile, at the same time, they're cutting the full-time employees and giving them 20 hours a week. There goes the benefits. There goes overtime. More money is funneled up. And now this person has to get 3 jobs. That's right, shutting down small lifelines. Right, yes. It's supposed to be a 99. And again, I know there are people who have died, so I'm not making mockery of their death. Let me just say that. I am not making a mockery of somebody's death who has died from this disease. But what I am saying is this. If it was really that bad, Like, it's amazing. I was, if you follow football, they got guys on a COVID list. He's on a COVID list. He can't play this week. And they asked the guy, how do you feel? I feel great. I feel great. I mean, people die from diseases. But what they're doing to this whole economy over it, that's interesting. And now they've rushed out a vaccination. Usually vaccines take years to be tested. They've rushed it out and even given a warning that there are going to be some serious side effects to this vaccine. But we're going to shoot you up with it anyways. Who is familiar with the Tuskegee experiment? I know somebody know about that experiment. The Tuskegee experiment. Wow, 110 years. Brother David said, I am. If you haven't heard of the Tuskegee experiment, look that up. That's interesting, very interesting. Injecting black men with syphilis just so that they can see what happens. I just want to see what's going to happen. Are there guinea pigs out there now? Are they turning the population into one big guinea pig? Shalom, Sister Angela. Let's see. Let's just take a black guy and inject them. Let's see what happens. We're in a bad time, brothers and sisters. That's exactly it. Scotty John, all of it under the guise of health care. The cross with a snake wiped around it. That's right. Tuba, the troops were the guinea pigs for every vaccine out there. Yes, sir. They do need to be careful. People need to be careful today. You have to take prudent, wise actions. I've been trying to get people to understand that. Many others before me have been trying to get people to understand it. It sounded crazy. It sounded crazy to prepare. It sounded crazy to leave the city. It sounded crazy to grow your own food. It sounded crazy to live simple. People used to talk about the only reason you're living like that is because you're poor. Now, that's true. I don't have a lot, but that's not why I chose this. I chose this to obey the Father. There was wisdom in it. Yah's people lived like this for a very long time, and they were fine. Oh yes, my wife is an RN. They are testing the grounds with polling now for the vax. Oh my gosh. How nice does it look now? For all those, exactly, El Cal, poor by what measuring standard? That's a great point. Poor according to your typical city-dwelling, American dream-chasing person. There are people moving into their parents' houses now in unprecedented numbers. Right. I could have gone back into, see, most people don't know my history. I actually, if I wanted to, go to California and teach right now. Credentialed. I can go and teach. I chose not to. There's been many things that I could go and do. I chose not to. It's all falling down. All of it. What are you going to do about it? And not for the ones necessarily here, but for the ones that are going to be watching this stream later on. What are you going to do now that you're seeing it all fall down? Now you're seeing things crumble right between your hands. You're watching the life that you spent 10, 15, 20 years building. You're watching it just sift through your hands. Sister Rosie, that is right. Now they report cases and not deaths. Just me? Yes. Being able to choose makes you rich. Choice. Not being forced into one direction or the other. If they say, we'll give you $1,500 for the shot, I'm just going to say, keep your money and your shot. But Brother David posed a very good question. And I'm just going to pose this to y'all. What if they say, for those of you who have children, that you have to vaccinate your children, otherwise you are putting them in danger, and you say no, and now you're faced with them possibly taking your children, especially for those that live in reservations. Imagine your child going to school, and they say, has your child been vaccinated? And you say no, and you hear on your door one day, and they want to know why you haven't vaccinated your child. And they're willing to take your child right there and do it. There was Washington, D.C., just passed, I think it was to the city council, a new ordinance or law that they can vaccinate your child without your permission. Without your permission. Do you see why the old paths that the Father gave to us are so important? Imagine if you were homeschooling now. On your own acre, out in the middle of nowhere. Imagine. Imagine if you could just live a life and be left alone for as much as you can. Now people want this and can't afford it. Can't make the move because they invested every last dollar into that life that they had in the city. That Brother Ken said it right there. That's why they need to get the heck out of the big cities, or as I call them, reservations. Emu, I understand exactly what you're saying, Emu. I've wondered that also. But, I mean, for one reason or another, some still do. But I wonder why. That should not be your choice. But hey, to each their own. But you know it's going to hit the schools. You know it's going to hit the schools. Just like we see, think about this. What if they say your child needs it to get, eventually they're going to open up the schools again, but your child needs the vaccination. Well, you're not vaccinating your child, so your child's at home. Well, you are a single parent and you work. Now, because your child's home, you have to be home. And if your child's home and you're home, where's the money going to come from? Where's the money going to come from? Do you see the plan? Do you see? This is why it counts to be prudent, foresee the evil. Look and say, wow, that looks like a disaster. Let me start preparing now. Instead of waiting for the thing to be right there, staring you in the face. And now you have to make a hasty, rushed decision. I hear them make the argument that they send their children to be lights to the lost world. Nah, I'll just live the book. Right. Right. I think it's my job to take care of my children, to teach my children. Then parents want to get mad. Why are the teachers teaching my children sex? That's my responsibility. Right. It's your responsibility to teach your children. Why are you getting mad at the teachers for teaching a systems education as if you're expecting them to teach your children great morals? Ripley, get the baby. Right, or fake holy days. Just saw a news report, Biden will not require all to be vaccinated. He may not. But what if your job says you need to be vaccinated to come back to work? What if the school said they may require you to be vaccinated to come back to work? What if you worked, you get jobs through, what do they call those places? The temp agency. And the temp agency said, well, do you have your vaccination? No. Well, then, I'm sorry, we can't place you anywhere. Christians say that all the time. If I don't send my child to school, there will be a void and evil will thrive in the public school. Right, Sister Rashana? Right. Exactly. It will be the businesses with the health passport now. That's what I believe. I don't believe it's going to be everybody has to take it. It's going to be the business that says you want a job, you have to get vaccinated. Because if you come here and get one of us sick, or get another employee sick, or get, Yah forbid, a customer sick, that customer may have the ability to sue because that business hired an unvaccinated person. That person was now a transmitter, especially if you're dealing with people. That person is a transmitter of the zombie plague. They would be held liable for hiring that person. It's scary where it's going. And I really do hope that y'all are, that those here and those that were going to be coming out are thinking about it. There are still things that I'm working out. A lot of things that I'm working out. Brainstorming, writing ideas down. Because what if it really does come down to, and I mean, really think about this. If you're dependent on your job, what if it really does come down to that? They mandated a mask in PA. I do not wear a mask and no one gives me any static. Hallelujah. But all it takes is that one person. It always and only takes one. One person to be offended. Just that one. Sister Rosie, that's exactly my point. If the employees are vaccinated against COVID, then they shouldn't worry. If everybody else is vaccinated and I'm not, they shouldn't worry. That's not how it works. We can't get the flu shot right, and that's been out for decades. This vaccine will kill people en masse, and they haven't gotten the flu shot right. Every year you need a new one. It's one state governor that wants people to wear masks inside their own homes. I read that. Yes, inside your own house, they want you to wear a mask. Get a petition started now at your workplace to not mandate vaccines. Right. But is it going to matter? How many of these businesses are in cahoots with the government? I mean, what if that business gets fined because they have employees that are not vaccinated? This thing could go so big. That would be the state of North Carolina that requires a mask in your home. You got people looking through your windows? The reason why I present this, the reason why I'm presenting this live stream is because I just want y'all to think where this could go. I don't want anybody to be stupid or just have blind hope. I just hope that it never comes to that. Okay, but what if it does? I don't think that anybody, truthfully, companies don't need a reason to fire people. Right to work states. HOQ, I'm glad you touched on that, brother. Most states are a right to work state. That is a very great point. That's a very good point, brother. They don't need to have a reason to fire you. They can just let you go. They don't even have to give you a reason. It's kind of like a no-fault divorce. There doesn't have to be a reason at all for them to get rid of you. You know, not every state's like California. Thank you, Father. Where they have to give you a legit reason why they let you go. Or at least the last time I heard, that's what it was. When I was there, that's how it was. Now they can just say, we don't need you anymore, bye. You don't want a vaccination? All right, see you later, bye. We don't need you anymore. At will. Is it at will? Is that the same as right to work? NGY? Is that the same idea? Just think, brethren and sisters, you know, you're not going to be able to use that religious exemption. My faith is the reason why they don't care. Okay, thank you, Elder. Thank you. Please think about these things. Think about how you're going to feed your family, how you're going to feed your children. Okay, thank you, Sister Angela. Thank you. At will is you work at will and can be released at any time for any reason. Okay. Okay, they can fire you without cause. Man. Woo. Oh, wait a minute. Sister Rosie said that's why they've provided extra beds and provided extra hospitals beds, and in the UK turned ice rinks into morgues. I'm pretty sure the millions of deaths anticipated will be as a result of the vaccines. Woo! They were? L-count? I didn't see your comment get taken down. I do know we have a Google moderator or administrator, somebody who was in here before. I think they blocked out Brother Ken's comment. HOQ said it right there. Get your houses in order, brothers. Have your house in order. I believe also at the Most High is going to help his people. But the Bible clearly says that we have to go through it. You're going to have to go through, and that's that mindset of I don't have to do anything. Yah's just going to protect me. Well, you know what? All throughout the Bible, men had to flee, had to run. There was persecution. Not everybody. It wasn't just that I'm just going to pray and I'm taken care of. If you read the book, Noah built an ark. Pharaoh still chased Moses. Elijah still ran from Jezebel. The disciples were persecuted. The apostles were persecuted. Jezebel was successful in killing many of the prophets. The Maccabees, they had to fight. It wasn't just in fact, if you go to the book of Maccabees and read the story, one of the reasons why Maccabees fought on the Shabbat was because he said, if we don't fight, because the Grecians were killing Yah's people. So the Mattathias and Maccabees said, if we don't fight, we're going to be gone. We'll all die. So this whole myth that I don't have to do anything, all I have to do is sit back and I'll be okay. It's just that. Read the Bible in its totality and see how many times Yah's people had to protect themselves. How many times they went to battle. You can't take the passive route. You can't take, some people want to be delivered by prayer alone. If you think like this, you're a nut job. Because these are the same people that when they get sick, they run to the doctor. When they hear a bump in the night, they call the police. When you want to pay your bills, you go to work. That's right. Even Messiah said, when you see Jerusalem encompassed with the Romans, flee to the mountains. He didn't just say, sit down and pray. Wow. Yeah, I didn't do anything, Elkan. My phone's not even in my hand. That's crazy. We got to be prudent. We have to take actions. We got to make moves. I've been saying this. So many others have been saying it. Trying to encourage to make the moves, to do what you have to do right now. Wow, my niece's husband works for FEMA. Wow. This vaccination, I'm just going to say, this vaccination, the fact that it was even proposed to pay people for the vaccination, shows their desperation to get this vaccination into the bodies of the population. That should give you an indicator that this great government does not mean you well. If they have to pay people to take it, they're not expecting good results. It's almost like they're paying you. It's like those people who when those trials that when these companies want to do trials, medical trials, they pay somebody to come and take the drug, and then they watch you and see what happens. And you're like, oh, so this drug gives you a third eye, but it gave you $400, so you can't sue us. Like that. That's the same thing we heard in Sabbath school today. Y'all's people had to do something, but Christianity taught us to just trust in God. That's the truth, Brother Daryl. Oh, that's good. Sarah Revere. Let me read that comment. Welcome to the channel. Bribery, blackmail, violence. They are trying to bribe us. It will escalate into blackmailing. You hear what she said? Woo, do you hear what she said? Thank you for the comment. It's bribery right now. It's only going to go to the next stage, which is blackmailing. And then after that, it's going to be straight out force. You either capitulate or you won't be included at all. Are you ready for that? Honestly. Oh, bless you, sister. Bless you, bless you. It could very easily go that way. And are you ready for that? Are you ready for where it's going? Not where it is right now. In 1 year, it went from nothing going on. We hear about something happened. Somebody ate bat soup in China and it looked like it started, to masks being mandatory, economies dying, jobs lost, violence in the streets, laws being created, people losing their mind, suicide rates rising. Africa will be site of future wars by many nations over raw resources. It's slowly happening right now. Africa is slowly being bought up by China. Africa is slowly being bought up by the Chinese. China's smart. They're expanding. And one thing is this. At the end of the day, food is still going to be a resource. Oh yeah, Haiti is also being bought up by the Chinese. The Chinese are buying up everything. Everything. The reality of it is no matter where you run, you can't hide. The only way you're going to hide is by prudence. Your ability to prepare. Yes, sir, Brother Matthew. Some of the meat birds. Whoa. Calm down. Some meat birds. Oh. You weren't supposed to be out there. Thank you. So as everything gets absolved into this system, food is going to be the resource. And the question is this. Sister Angela, I've had that comment with people, and I have some compadres in Africa, and that's exactly it, Tuba. That's exactly it. The growing seasons are shifting, and China is buying up Africa in droves. The thing is, you can't escape a lack of food. Wherever you are, you can't escape a lack of food. And when there's a lack of food, people are going to, they're going to go to where food is. No, America is not the answer. Africa's not the answer. China's not the answer. Russia's not the answer. The only answer is what you can do. Now, if you believe Africa is a great place to go, it's not. You don't by moving from one geographical location to the next doesn't escape the problem. It doesn't escape the problem. The reality is, food's going to be a weapon. I have friends lived in South Africa and Kenya. They left. I have quite a few. I have friends in Belize. I have friends in South American states. I have friends in Africa. I have friends in, well, not, I can't really say they're friends. These people I know, but they decided, you know what? Let's move to some of the Pacific Island nations. Let's go to Laos. Let's go to Vietnam. Let's go to Thailand. Now, Thailand, the ones that are in Thailand, they said they like Thailand a little bit. They said they like Thailand a little bit. They like it there. But at the end of the day, oh, wait, 16, oh, you have 16,000 hectares. Woo! What I'm saying is, when things get bad, and all of my friends have said the same exact thing. When things get bad, you're the foreigner. That's what they've all said. When things get bad, you're always the foreigner. So I took that to heart. When things get bad, I don't want to be the foreigner. I don't want to be the foreigner in no foreign country. Unless I have some sort of family ties or deep-rooted family ties to that area. That's just me, though. But this is not to dissuade anybody from making any moves that they feel like they need to make. If you feel like you need to make them, hallelujah. I pray it works out for you. I pray it works out for you. But I just, this thing that's coming, I just don't, it's going to touch every area, every crevice, every surface. It's going to touch everywhere. That's it. That's it. That's it. Sarah said, Israel's a foreigner everywhere, must pray to be led somewhere and prepare in the meantime. That's it right there, sister. No matter where you are a foreigner. We have to pray to be led somewhere and prepare in the meantime. That's it. That is it. And to be honest, I would like to be in an area where I know there are brothers and sisters that have the same faith, that I know personally, that I have personal friendships with and personal ties with. Yah is the answer. Can somebody grab my Bible? Now I do need it. Oh, yeah. I understand freezing UK. I understand that one. Amen. Can't be a lone wolf in this either, at least as much as possible. I am very confident in my abilities, but I found something out. I, Brother Aaron, am not Chuck Norris. That was a hard revelation for me. I am not Chuck Norris. I cannot take on the whole Vietnamese army by myself. I am not going to fly into Vietnam and rescue the POWs. I was thinking about it. But I decided that that's probably not very wise. I'm just not Chuck Norris. So you know what? Being around like believers who believe the same law that I do, who have the same right, I'm not Rambo either. So what I came to the realization is being around like-minded people and developing strong brotherhood, strong cohesiveness, that's important to me. Being able to barter with people that I can trust is important to me. Now, Brother David, I do have a little John Wick in me. I do have that. I was outside throwing knives at a tree, and they stuck in the tree. I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready. Bows, arrows, knives, swords, nice little choreographed gunfights, where they're pulling the trigger and knocking the gun just out of reach, and it was wonderfully choreographed. I loved it. We're gonna need each other. When I read in this Bible, there was always the ability for people, right, kid? Yeah, I'm definitely ready now. I can throw a knife. Was it 2 Chronicles? Was it 14:7? I believe, Sister Angela. Is that what she said? 7:14. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and will heal their land. Hallelujah. That's the answer. Real brotherhood is the answer that builds community and mags. That's what we're doing out here. Building real brotherhood with real brothers, not this idea that because you relocate, suddenly we're together now. Some people have that mistake. I relocated, we're together now. Let's fellowship. No, I want to test you. How will people get to each other if there is going to be roadblocks asking for the C vaccination card? Well, here's what I believe, brother. I believe one of the advantages, because there's not enough law enforcement in this country to man every road and a roadblock. If you even look at Hollywood, I believe, has given us kind of the blueprint. Here's what I mean. You watch movies like Colony, shows where they usher everybody into large metropolitan areas. It's very easy to manage people when you have them corralled. What it very easily could be is they shut down the inner cities and they force the people on the outskirts, because they've been doing that for a while already. There were times in California that there were little towns that were springing up. They shut down that little town by simply cutting off the exit off-ramp to that town. They cut off the exit to that town. The people left the town and went to where the work was. They went to the major city. They left the town and relocated back in the major city. I believe that there's going to be a ploy to push people away from the outskirts and into the major cities, because there's not enough people to man all these roads out here. If that was the case, there wouldn't be people speeding all over the time. Oh, okay, it's required movies for my group. Hallelujah. That's right, Brother Matthew, yes. So the way that I see that they could do it is you have to control the people. You have to force them to come to you. Out here, there's too many roads. There are always people. Hey, there was some truck that was off-roading and got stuck on some back road. These back roads out here don't even have names. They're not manning those. And between where I am and, let's say, Brother David is, I've taken back roads to get to his place. Roads where there is nobody on them. There is nobody out there. Roads that don't even have, I crossed a river once. I felt like I was on Oregon Trail. I had to literally caulk the wagons and float. I felt like I was on an Oregon Trail. Options. Do you ford the river? Do you caulk the wagons and float? Or do you pay the ferry? Listen, I'm caulking the wagons. I don't care what happens. I've died many times in Oregon Trail because they said the river was too violent, and I don't care. I'm caulking the wagons, and we floating. That's right, Brother Kent. That's exactly, that. I am so far from a city that has, I don't want to give any population numbers. I am so far from any major city, it's not even funny.
Money.
Brother Matthew, shalom, shalom, shalom.
Money.
That's how far am I out. I mean, I'm so far, if you try the GPS where I am, it's not going to take you here. I love that fact. You won't get here. I love that. So as far as all that goes, I kind of stick with the, like how the book of Yahshua said, the Levites are all the 11 tribes went to Ramses to build. That's the same plan I think it's going to be today. Right, Elcan. Do you think the Amish will get a shot? Heck no, they won't. Heck no, they won't. Heck no. But that's why you have to move towards a state of preparedness. You want to be around like-minded people, whether it be brothers, families. You want that sort of cohesion. I don't want to be a man on an island. Whether that's in my hometown in San Diego, California, or in our Antarctica, or Africa, I don't want to be one by myself. I don't. We're going to need each other. We're going to need each other to get through this. So do I believe that we'll be able to get supplies back and forth to each other? Yes. Because even a lot of these small town sheriffs and all that, they don't really care much about petty stuff. I mean, out here, there's supposedly a mandatory mask. I can walk in any store I want to. They'll have the mask sign up on the window, and the employees ain't got the mask on. I can walk in there, get what I need, no mask, and walk out. Nobody says anything. The employees don't even have the mask on. The L count, that is exactly it. I would like y'all to read, if you have the book of Joshua, read how the children of Israel became enslaved in Egypt. There was a nice little plan. Let me write it down for you. Maybe we'll read it again. We might do that maybe next first day. Brother Daryl, right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me tell you how they did it. Shalom, Brother Frank. Shalom, shalom. Let me tell you how they did it. Very easy. Pharaoh said, bring the Israelites to build, give them an offer to help build Pithom and Ramses, two cities that Pharaoh wanted built. 11 of the tribes said, yes, we'll go and help build it. They went to the major cities to get paid. Levi didn't. Levi stayed out where he was. Exactly, just like today. Just like today. Pharaoh paid the Israelites, but within a month, they stopped paying them. They paid them less and less and less. And then they started charging basically the Israelites for their room and board. So what happened was the Israelites were working, making money, and then giving it right back. Kind of like we live today. Kind of like many people live today. They make their money and they turn back around and they give it right back. Pretty soon, the Egyptians just stopped paying them. They stopped paying them altogether. But since the Egyptians were surrounding them and the Israelites were paying all their resources right back to the system, they never had anything. Then they started to oppress them. And they, because at first they had the Egyptians working with the Israelites building. Then they started pulling Egyptians out little at a time and started making them basically their supervisors, their bosses. And before you know it, within a couple, I believe it was within a year or two, it was a long-term plan that the Pharaoh worked out. The wise men worked out. And this is way back then. Can you give me my book of Joshua real quick? It's up there. Is it? Yeah, it's up there. We're to read this and then we're going to draw us to a close. I just want y'all to hear this. It might be that one, I think. That's it. I want y'all to hear this. Yeah, if y'all don't mind taking listening for another 10, 15 minutes. Where is it? Okay, where am I at? Wait a minute. I think I've gone too far. All right, there it is. All right. Joshua chapter 65. Y'all just endure with it, endure with me. And the Bible says, as it was, so shall it be again. I believe that this same plan is the same plan that's been enacted over and over and over again. All right, verse 1. Just listen to this. This is how you get a people to be enslaved. And it came to pass after these things that all the counselors of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and all the elders of Egypt assembled and came before the king and bowed down to the ground and sat before him. And the counselors and elders of Egypt spake unto the king, saying, Behold, the people of the children of Israel is greater and mightier than we are. And thou knowest all the evil which they did to us on the road when we returned from battle. And thou hast also seen their strong power, for this power is unto them from their fathers. But a few men stood up against a people numerous as the sand, and smote them with the edge of the sword, and themselves not one has fallen, so that if they had been numerous, they would then have utterly destroyed them. Now therefore give us counsel what to do with them, until we gradually destroy them from amongst us, lest they become too numerous for us in the land. For if the children of Israel should increase in the land, they will become an obstacle to us. And if any war should happen to take place, they, with their great strength, will join our enemy against us and fight against us, destroy us from the land, and go away from it. So the king answered the elders of Egypt and said unto them, This is the plan advised against Israel, from which we will not depart. Behold, in the land of Pithom and Ramses, cities unfortified against battle, it behooves you and us to build them and to fortify them. Now therefore, go you also and act cunningly toward them, and proclaim a voice in Egypt and in Goshen at the command of the king, saying, All ye men of Egypt, Goshen, Pathros, and all their inhabitants, the king has commanded us to build Pithom and Ramses, and to fortify them for battle. Who amongst you of all Egypt, of the children of Israel, and of all the inhabitants of the cities, are willing to build with us? Shall each have his wages given to him daily at the king's order. So go you first and do cunningly, and gather yourselves, and come to Pithom and Ramses to build. And whilst you are building, cause a proclamation of this kind to be made throughout Egypt every day at the command of the king. And when some of the children of Israel shall come to build with you, you shall give them their daily wages for a few days. And after they have built with you for their daily hire, drag yourselves away from them daily, one by one in secret, and you shall rise up and become their taskmasters and officers, and you shall leave them afterward to build without wages. And should they refuse, then force them with all your might to build. And if you do this, it will be well with us to strengthen our land against the children of Israel. For on account of the fatigue of the building of the work, the children of Israel will decrease, because you will deprive them of their wages day by day. And all the elders of Egypt heard the counsel of the king, and the counsel seemed good in their eyes, and in the eyes of the servants of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all Egypt. And they did according to the word of the king. And all the servants went away from the king, and they caused a proclamation to be made in all of Egypt, and Tachpanches and in Goshen, and in the cities which surrounded Egypt, saying, you have seen that the children of Esau and Ishmael did to us, who came to war against us and wished to destroy us. Now therefore the king commanded us to fortify the land, to build the cities of Pithom and Ramses, and to fortify them for battle, if they should again come against us. Whosoever of you from all Egypt and from the children of Israel will come to build with us, he shall have his daily wages given by the king, as is commanded unto us. And when Egypt and all the children of Israel heard all that the servants of Pharaoh had spoken, there came from the Egyptians and the children of Israel to build with the servants of Pharaoh, Pithom and Ramses. But none of the children of Levi came with their brethren to build. None of the children of Levi went. And all of the servants of Pharaoh and his princes came at first with deceit to build with all Israel as daily hired laborers. And they gave to Israel their daily hire at the beginning. And the servants of Pharaoh built with all Israel and were employed in that work with Israel for a month. Brother Elkow, you were right. It was 1 month. And at the end of the month, all the servants of Pharaoh began to withdraw secretly from the people of Israel daily. And Israel went on with the work at that time. But they then received their daily hire, because some of the men of Egypt were yet carrying on the work with Israel at that time. Therefore, the Egyptians gave Israel their hire in those days, in order that the Egyptians, their fellow workmen, might also take their pay for their labor. And at the end of a year and 4 months, all the Egyptians had withdrawn from the children of Israel, so that the children of Israel were left alone, engaging in the work. And so it took them a year and 4 months to withdraw all of the Egyptians. So it was nothing but the children of Israel working. That's a long-term plan. And after all the Egyptians had withdrawn from the children of Israel, they returned and became oppressors and officers over them. And some of them stood over the children of Israel as taskmasters, to receive from them all that they gave them for their pay of their labor. So they would pay them and then take it back. Today, it's done a lot more cunningly. You go to work, they pay you, then they just take it back in your rent payment for a 30-year loan, which basically means you're probably never going to really own that house before you die, and they take the house from you for because your medical payments are too high. You know, that death. So they take it. You pay your house note, you pay your car note, you pay your electric bill. All your money gets siphoned from you, and then every year you take a nice vacation, just so that you can do the same damn thing again. The same damn cycle. Every year you make a bunch of money, you spend it all, you have very little to show for it, you have very little that you actually own, you give it all back after you have a nice 1 week vacation. And then you get old, and then you die. Right, and you don't even own it because don't pay your taxes and see what happens. Right. And that's it. That's what you have to show for your life. That's it. Children only inherit debt. They don't even get the property because it's still, you still have a balance on it. When you got 15 years in your loan, you took a second mortgage out on it. You're you know what I'm saying? You're a slave. And the Egyptians did in this manner to the children of Israel day by day in order to afflict in their work. And all the children of Israel were alone engaging in the labor. And the Egyptians refrained from giving any pay to the children of Israel from that time forward. And when some of the men of Israel refused to work on account of the wages not being given to them, then the exactors and the servants of Pharaoh oppressed them and smote them with heavy blows and made them return by force to labor with their brethren. Thus did all the Egyptians unto the children of Israel all the days. Which goes to show, once you go in, they ain't letting you out. Once you go into it, there ain't no way out. They're going to beat you until you get back to work. So the whole point is, get out while you can. Get out while the getting is good. Don't wait for them to put the shackles to close everything down and then say, well, I was just about to get ready to make the move. It's too late. It's too late. And the children of Israel built Pithom and Ramses, and all the children did the work. And all the children of Israel did the work. Some making bricks and some building. And the children of Israel built and fortified all the land of Egypt and its walls. And the children of Israel were engaged in work for many years until the time came when Yahweh remembered them and brought them out of Egypt. But the children of Levi were not employed in the work with the brethren of Israel from the beginning until the day of their going forth from Egypt. So that means that Levi was never in that oppression, ever. All the other tribes were, Levi wasn't. Levi was able to foresee the evil and separate himself. I ain't going to that major city. And here's the amazing thing. The children of Israel actually built their own oppression. They built up their own oppression because they went into Egypt, and as Isaiah says, they made Egypt their covering. They were covered by Egypt. All the children of Levi, verse 33, knew that the Egyptians had spoken all these words with deceit to the Israelites. Therefore, the children of Levi refrained from approaching to the work with their brethren. And the Egyptians, and here's the other part that I read, verse 34. And the Egyptians did not direct their attention to make the children of Levi work afterward, since they had not been with their brethren at the beginning. Therefore, the Egyptians left them alone. That verse right there is what gives me hope. That verse right there lets me know. Wait, I didn't see your comment. Oh, yes. Yes. We'll touch on that one also. I think many will be shocked to read why Moses slew the Egyptian. The whole point is this, brothers and sisters. Don't go in. And if you are in, as much as you possibly can, within reason. Again, I'm not telling you what to do. You do it at your own. But come out of her. Because when this system locks it down, and you already see they're going that way, when it officially locks it down, let me ask you a question. And I mean this sincerely. If you can't go, oh yeah, I don't see a comment at all. If the grocery store stops allowing you to shop there because you don't have a vaccination, you can't show them your papers, where will you get your food? And that may be a year or two away from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Okay, I don't think it's gonna be 10 years from now. But if they go that way, how will you eat? How will you eat? Well, Fallen Sky, I don't think anyone's blocking the comments because I would see it on my end. It would say that the comment was blocked. If it's not going up, it's the algorithm. It's the YouTube algorithm that's blocking him. Because I'm not even seeing on my end that he even commented. And before even if it was blocked, it would show on my end that somebody, it would say so-and-so blocked this person. And it would still be up there on my log. I'm not saying anything. But if you don't have food and you can't get it, honestly, what's your plan? Is that when you're going to decide, now I want to get out? Is that when you decide that? I'm going to get out now? Oh, that is weird. Yeah, I don't see it, Brother Elkan, at all. And I think this is what I'm trying to impress upon the minds of people. It's just a vaccine now. But this is going to go further. This is just step one of many more steps. That's exactly it, Brother Chris. You got to submit to the U.S. government. All this stuff will truly show who's are on y'all's side and who's aren't. This is why, and that's the truth, Brother Darrell. This is why there are those who are simply letting you know the wise and the prudent thing right now would be to make those moves that you may not be very comfortable with making. That's exactly it, Brother David. What is this vaccine conditioning for? The mark. I believe that. Do I believe that it is the mark? No. But I do believe it's conditioning people. I do believe that as people acquiesce and continue to acquiesce, they're being conditioned. Exactly, Brother Ken. It won't be long before you have to submit to something even bigger. It starts off here, and then it goes to here, and it gets bigger, and little by little, they erode your power, they erode your choice, until you're making only the choices that they want you to make. I think what we need to do is we need to be like Levi and say, well, I'm not going in, I'm staying out here. And I pray that, as we read in the book, Egypt didn't go after Levi. They said, we got enough people here already. We'll just leave them out there. We don't worry about them. That's just one tribe. We have the other 11 right here. They have majority of people. It was like some crazy number. You know, well over 90% or something like that. 90% of people in this country live in cities. Did I vote? I didn't. Never did. Never will. Oh my gosh. Fallen Sky Prepper said, yes, it will. How do I know? My wife writes the code for all state governments to get reimbursed from the insurance policy. I know what's coming. Woo! Taking it for debt goes against Torah. You pay on it as you read, as you can, and debts are wiped away every 7 years. That destroys a Babylon system. This keeps inflation at bay. That's the truth. If every 7 years debt was wiped away, you know what that would mean? But that's why they have 30-year loans. Tuba said, this vax does alter your DNA, though. Is there a report or something that I could, I'll look it up. I will look that up. Like the saying goes, give an inch and they'll take a mile. That's exactly it. You give them an inch. That's right, Elkhorn. The max loans would be 7 years. If it was a nation that really followed the laws of Yah, no loan could exceed 7 years. Because by then it would either be wiped out or you would have paid it off. Oh, brother, I already know people, Christians, who say they will submit to save their family. There it goes. Right there. So you have an option right now. You have an opportunity right now to make a move. I would highly suggest you do it with wisdom. Because a time is coming. And you're already seeing it right now. People don't have the finances to make the moves that they want to make now. Has anybody even seen the price of lumber? Of OSB? Building supplies? Building material? I mean, have you seen the prices? Skyrocketing. Most people are priced out of building. Thank you, Brother Frank. You can't even afford to build. Oh, it's just a trace marker. The real one, 2029, 2036. Oh. Yeah, OSB is stupid. The price of it is stupid. The trace marker. So that if that is the case, 2029 is 8 years away. Mind you, it takes time to move. It takes time. And we know it's not going to get any better. So don't think that these jobs are coming back. So if it is 2029, let's just say, hypothetically is right. If it is 2029, you do realize that we're on a downward curve right now. Meaning the opportunity to make that money that you want to make won't be here. Think about that. I mean, I got seeds right here from one of my favorite seed companies. Just one of them. Baker Creek. Do you know how hard it is to get seeds right now? And these are just some really weird things I'd never seen before, like red Ursula kale. Well, we got some more of that. I like to buy weird things. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but it says squash. Yep, whatever. Chilies. A very big German kohlrabi. Look at this one. Look. Blue dazzling kale. How soon is it that we won't even be able to get these? We've got to think. I saw the prices of the lumber that you're talking about. It is stupid. Yeah, Brother Kent, I love some peppers. I love some peppers. I like somebody to try to go out there and spend under 200, spend what you were spending 5 years ago. Try to find 1,000 rounds of regular steel cased 223 ammo. You're paying upwards of $500. Well, not many people can afford to pay $500 now for 223, 7.62 by 39. 9mm. I saw one, they were selling steel case 9mm. I mean, I'm talking like Tula. I think they wanted $525, $525 for regular steel cased Tula ammunition. That's crazy. Who can afford that? So now your question is, I can't train. I can't afford to protect myself because I have to pay my rent. They can't, but ammo to protect themselves because people food storage is low. That's right. That's right. $500, they're robbing us, man. Yes, they are. And people are paying it now because you can't find it. You cannot find the ammo. So, hey, the manufacturer is still making the guns, but the ammo's not there. Whoa, my son found me some 308 steel. Okay, it's for $10 a buck. What? Wow, that's a good price. Dang, that's a good price. What, 50 cents a round? That's an excellent price. OSB tongue and groove is $31. Brother David said, you'll get 1/10 of the product. Yes, you will. That's it. 2x2, that's what I noticed too. 9mm is now as expensive as rifle rounds. In some cases, more expensive than rifle rounds. People will have gun paperweights, right? They'll have a nice gun and can't afford to feed it. Can't afford to practice. Can't afford to put some rounds through paper or rounds on steel. Shalom, Brother Alex. No, that's a problem because you can't afford anything. Imagine if you had a garden right now. Do you know how much money you would save by just simply having a garden right now? Just growing some food. You wouldn't be so desperate for that $1,500. You see, you can actually mitigate some of your costs. You can mitigate some of your desperation by just simply coming out, simplifying your life. Right. I know. I was just telling the sisters today, we are well into the thousands. Well into the thousands that we saved from just growing our own gardens this year. Just growing our own gardens. And then doing this. Let's see if I can do it. That right there, doing that. Turned our living room into a food storage area. Simply canning, dehydrating, oil pressing, being self-sufficient as much as I possibly can. That's where, and you can avoid a lot of this mess. There are brothers right now that get their own milk from their own animals. It's a sacrifice. Do you want, 10 head of goat? Or would you like a nice trip? Forget 10 head. You want 20 head of goat? Or a nice vacation for a week? Think of that car payment you're making every single month. How much of that goes to interest? Imagine if you had that interest in your pocket and you put that money into some seeds, into taking a class to learning how to work with metal. I was just out there welding yesterday again. Unless you have a greenhouse, brother, I would wait until spring. Well, it depends on what, I don't want, if you want to give me like a location, like state, because in some states, it's still warm enough, I believe, to plant, if you wanted to, especially those states that don't have real winters. Now, if it gets cold in your area, below freezing, just wait. Just wait. Unless you plant indoors, you can plant indoors. You can do that. I mean, we saw mustards outside right now that are still growing. We've had some low 20s, freezes in the low 20s, and our greens are still producing. I have the goats I can milk, but no time to milk them. I'm actually considering bringing on a farmhand. Wow. How do I deal with condensation in our house? I insulated and then I used plastic over the insulation to help with the condensate, or to help with the cold air from the outside hitting that hot air from the inside. That's what causes the condensation. So usually wrapping it. Yeah, and that's another good thing. But what Brother Chris said, get your stove going hot. Get it going hot. The wood stove, I get it going. I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about it at all. Hallelujah. But yeah, we gotta make these decisions now, brothers and sisters. Time is short. We see it. Time is short. We gotta make these decisions right now, the tough ones. And men, we have the responsibility of making these decisions for our families. For our families, for our wives, children. Prudent. Yeah, when you get that stove going, woo! My Swiss chards just died a week ago. The next time, tuba, the next time, mulch your Swiss chard. I have Swiss chard like beets are biennials. It means they go to seed every 2 years. If you mulch them heavily, they'll come back the next year. I have some that came back this year. My red Swiss chard, red flamingo Swiss chard came back this year, and it's like a tree now. It's got a huge stalk, and it's got shoots coming off of it. And you can actually take the shoots and root them, put them in some water, let the roots come out, put it in soil, or you can just transplant it straight in the soil, and you can actually cultivate more plants that way. I'll do a video for that. I'll do a video on that. But if you mulch your Swiss chard heavily, some hay, some straw, or even if you just go to weeds or grass or anything like that, put it on top of it, you're good. Does anybody grow tobacco to warm the animals? Brother Alex, I grow cayenne peppers. But see, these are the skills that we have to have. Just him mentioning worming. How do you deworm your animals if you don't have the skill, if you don't know how to do it? So I grow a lot of cayenne peppers because it's a natural dewormer. I didn't know about tobacco. Now that I know about tobacco, that's interesting. I'll look into that. I did not know tobacco was a natural dewormer. But I was using cayenne pepper and ginger. Zion she makes a mixture of cayenne pepper and ginger. And we grow both of those. So we mix those two. Well, I don't mix it. Let me tell you. She mixes it all together and feeds them to the animals. And they love it. They love it. It has helped with our goats. But these are the things that we have to learn and know, brothers and sisters. And mind you, let me tell y'all something. I've never, prior to coming out here in the Rock, I have never had, you waste tobacco on animals. I did not know any of this stuff before coming out here. I just did it. I put my hands to the plow. Brother Andre sells a shirt that says, just live it. Just live it. Live what the book is. Learn. Because you know what? Time is running out. And even if time is not running out yet, I know one thing for a fact. People's finances are running out. The amount of money that people have and has to use, it's running out. Be wise, brothers and sisters. This vaccination is just the beginning. It is absolutely just the beginning. Get yourself ready. Please. If anybody have any more comments, we can spend a couple minutes looking at some comments, and then I am out of here. I want to thank you all for being here. It's very sobering thinking about what's coming. It makes me look at what I'm doing and say, I have to work faster. I have to work harder. I have to work with a more determined heart. I have to make even more sacrifices for my family to make sure I get this thing the way I want it to go. Because the way it's going, when it reaches that threshold, you're just going to have what you have. And is that going to be enough? Is that going to be enough? Is what you have right now going to be enough? If you could not go into the system to make money because you can't get a job because you won't get vaccinated, do you have enough right now? Only allow determined people to be around you and your land. That's the next thing. Yes. I have about 70 pounds of rice stored up so far. Working on getting other things too. Hallelujah, Brother Rico. Hallelujah. Keep on that, brother. Keep on it. Keep a little at a time, as much as you can. I think we're going to need it. I think 2021 is going to be a terrible year, to be honest. That's Brother Darrell. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. They did all this in 1 year. 1 year. They did all of this to the point now that now they're talking about vaccinations. Mandatory. And HOQ said only allow determined people to live around you. Only allow determined people. Don't allow these half-assed, wishy-washy, people around you. I ain't doing it. And if I find out you're wishy-washy or you're not making the proper steps, hey. I have to work hard. I have to work even hard. You are right, Brother Chris. I got to step up even more. Everybody else is just chilling sick. That is it. F them. Worth dying for, right? There comes the subscriber count again. Woo, brothers and sisters, I'm just, man. Well, all we can do is what we can. I saw Brother David said, I want to read this. We can never be too prepared. Keep pressing and grinding while we can. While we can, keep pushing it, brothers. Especially y'all brothers. Keep pushing it. Keep going. All right. I hope you all have a blessed night. I hope that this, it wasn't about the $1,500. It's about what's coming. It's about, are you ready? If you really say, I'm not taking this vaccine, are you ready for the consequences that come with that decision? Are you ready to not be able to live the life that you are living right now? Bless you all. Hope you have a blessed week. We are going to be trying. Right, it ain't. It ain't. Well, wait. It is. Wait, for me, that's a lot of money. But it's not worth compromising myself. It's not worth compromising myself. It definitely ain't with no vaccine. So we will be having, we're going to be trying to get videos out every day for now on. We're going to be trying that. The sister's going to be doing videos, and I'm going to be doing videos. Thank you all for everybody who takes the time to watch the ads. Even if you hit the video, throw the phone off to the corner, let the ad play. I want to thank you. It does help. It does help. Bless you all. Have a blessed week. Brothers, just live it. Sisters, just live it. Bless you all. and shalom.